I've been reflecting on the mountains and the river, and more about the energy of what they provide for us. And one of the things that, as Mauri would say, is ko wai o, and we know that is who am I, ko wai o. But when we break down ko wai o, wai is water, and o is me, myself. So ko wai o is asking, what water am I? But if we look at the word wai, it means water, but it is also wa I. It's time and space, it's timelessness. So basically it means I am timeless. I am timeless. And there's something really profound in that, ko wai o. I am water, I am timeless. So therefore, if I looked at the river and we see the wai, we see the water, we know that it is timeless. It is a being of timelessness. And the river comes from the mountains, comes down from the mountains, and it provides sustenance and nutrients and for everything that's in its pathway, everything that surrounds it. And communities and villages and tribes would build their parasites, their communities around a river. And so there was a lot of mana, a lot of greatness or given to the river, and also the mountains that it flows from. So I wanted to talk about ko wai o and how our ancestors, our tupuna, were so connected to the environment, to nature. They saw the environment as themselves. They really did. So what they saw on the outside, they would see reflected within them. So to know how you are as a people, you would look to the river, you would look to your environment, to taiao, you'd look to see how the manu were, the abundance of the kai that was in the area. So everything about that, you would look at the environment to see how you are as a people, as a tribe, and as a person individually as well. So this is why in our pepeha, meaning who we are, where we're from, we always say that we are our mountain, we are our river, we are our hapu, we're our tribe, we are our larger tribe. This is why we say that we are that, because everything that is in that is in us, and everything about that reflects back to us, who we are, who we truly are. So to look to the health of a tribe or a people, you would look to the health of the river that flows through that tribe or that community. So it's really important to understand this, and to actually start to see the environment as yourself, to actually see the environment reflecting back to you. How we as individuals can look at the environment of what's going on around us as a reflection of what's going on within us, and vice versa. What's going on within us, we can see with what's reflecting back to us through our environment. So you can take one particular thing in your environment, say like the river, for instance. Take the river and try to understand and learn about the river and what it can reflect back to you. How is the river in its presence? How is it in its full being? So one of the ways that we can look at the river for its health and wellness is just by being in its presence and listening to the sound of the river, just listening to the sound of that, because the sound of the river is a frequency, it's a vibration, and the more that you are connected to the river and listening to that sound and being immersed in that sound and in its presence, the more we become attuned to its vibration, and the more our body, our aura, our Mauri becomes similar to that of the river. We become the river. We are the river. Ko au te awa, ko te awa ko au. I am the river and the river is me. So if we start with just the river and we look at all the analogies of what a river is, and we know that we've just learned that Y is timelessness. So it is timelessness. And it is powerful, because what does water do? It flows. It flows, and it flows out towards the ocean. It flows out towards the ocean, so it has a directional flow. It feels cleansing, so when you hear the sound of the river trickling over rocks or gushing through valleys or flowing over waterfalls, that can have an effect on our body, on our Mauri. It can have an effect on us, and it can have a cleansing effect, an unblocking effect on our body. So whenever you feel like you're heavy with the burdens of the world, or anything that's going on where you feel like you need to cleanse yourself, the river is a perfect place to go to be able to immerse yourself in the water, but also immerse yourself in the vibration of the river itself. Because I can guarantee you that very soon you start to vibrate like the river. Everything that the river holds, because it holds memory, doesn't it? And everything that the river can do, your body, you start to act as if you are the river. So what does a river do? It flows around obstacles. If there's an obstacle in front of its way, it will either flow around it or over it or through it. It has the power of its flow to be able to move past and over obstacles in its pathway. It has the power to carve its own pathway. And that's powerful in itself. So for those of us who are looking at new pathways to forge ahead and creating new environments and around them, becoming like a river and flowing like a river is a really great analogy to work with, because it's carving your own pathway. Yes, so the river holds memory, doesn't it? The river holds memory, and it holds patterns and vibrations. So depending on where the river comes from and what it flows through, and it can hold the pattern of its environment, of where it's come from, and as it trickles out to sea, which is why it's good to know where your river starts from and the pathway that it forges to get towards the ocean. And so if you look at this particular river, for instance, and you look at the pathways of it has to go through, you've got old forests, ancient forests that hold beautiful Mauri. You've got old forests that it goes through, rocks that are ancient and they hold memory as well. But if you've got things like, areas that could be polluted, or people that have thrown things into the river or the stream or wherever that is creating some kind of block, it's a good idea to understand why that is happening. Because we can't have our rivers blocked. We can't have them. We need them to be flowing. So it's good to understand how your river is wherever you are, and where those blockages are, just like the body, knowing where the blockages are, the obstacles are in your body. Know the river and where its blockages are, and then take kaitiakitanga, become the kaitiaki of that area and help it to unblock. Or if you can't get in the water and do that work, then look to the source of how you can prevent it from happening. There's lots of ways. I mean, how you can prevent it from happening, you know, it might be something where you choose to take a group of you and go to the area and clean up, or it might be an area that you continue to keep going back and ask yourself, why is it continuing to happen in this particular area? Why you need to monitor that area and why it's happening, and then put an action in place to prevent it from occurring. And it's the same with our body, knowing where our blockages are in our body. So the river represents our veins and our arteries, It's the flow of blood through our veins and our arteries, and also the lymph that flows through our body. So to know where those blockages are in the body is really important. And you have an idea of where they are. What do you need to do to prevent that blockage from happening? What can you do to create a clear pathway for the blood, the water, to flow over, through, and around? Okay, so it's about using the river as an analogy, as a reflection of your own self, of your own body. And it's it's a really powerful way to look at your health and wellness. And that's why it's so important to connect to Papatūānuku, but actually come to the environment, come to her and feel her breathing, and look at everything that's around you. This is just the kōrero on the river today and how it reflects who we are. We've also got the mountain that can reflect the power within us. The river comes from the mountain, which is obtaining its power from that mountain. You're getting the mountain energy flowing through the river. And that's why it's so important to take care of our river, take care of ourselves, and connecting back to Papatūānuku, and in whatever way you can. But being outdoors is so important right now. It is so important to put your feet on the ground and just feel everything around you. Feel your environment. Listen to everything that goes on. I mean, through this video you can hear the river flows, you can hear the manu, the birds, you can hear everything around you, and that is part of learning about Rongoā, is actually learning about your environment and knowing it really intimately. So I encourage you to be in nature right now. So you can really hear the sound of the river. Has a powerful effect on the body.